I was like 18 years old. I was like, I want to sound like Kurt Cobain. I want to be like Kurt Cobain because he was the most handsome dude I ever saw. He's a super pretty guy. And then, but then, so I was like, I want to be able to play like him. So I started learning guitar, and then I learned how to play guitar by watching Kurt Cobain play guitar. Like that's how I learned. Oh, the only thing was he played left-handed. I play righty, so translate the I would just translate it to the way I play, which is right-handed. And the way I play, I adjusted the way I play to play like me, and then I started playing and I started singing, and I sing often. I've been singing since I was a kid. I was singing as a little kid, always, all the time in the car with my mom, and that's cool and whatever. And then I was also like, I want to change my voice so I could change it to be more like feminine sounding. So like I wanted to learn how to say words but to sound like a girl when I talked. And whenever I played video games, I would like play as a girl, and then I would like practice my girl voice online, not to trick people or whatever, but just to find a way to do that, because I felt insecure about that when I was insecure, because I didn't want to get made fun of by my friends or whatever. So I would practice talking like a girl, and then eventually when I came to a realization that like maybe I want to be a girl, like maybe I wanted to transition into being a girl. So that's something I tried to do, but I was also something I was really insecure about, and I didn't feel very comfortable like trying to express that. So when I tried, and then it was working out, but I was also facing a lot of difficulty with the pressure I felt to not express myself the way I wanted to, mostly just because I had basically, you grow up in a place instilled with you all these kind of preconceived notions about how people are supposed to be, or like your identity, how it's figured within the context of like history, and like the context of like what we basically kind of agree to be, just like what generally is. But sometimes those things aren't always true, and like the way you think you have to be just because of your race or your spiritual beliefs, etc., is regularly challenged in daily life, and especially with your own desires, if they go against what you believe yourself to be, or what you might have to be just to survive in a social dynamic that is pre-established for you, that is ever changing and progressing, and progress for social change takes a lot of time. And that's also something that comes to mind whenever I think about wanting to transition, or change my gender in this life, is that even in that regard, I also have to contend with race and other things. There's many things, my financial status, my education level, etc. All those things that there's a way you want to be, and then there's a way that you are in the system that we have that is not going to change quick enough to accommodate what you want. So you just have to find your way through it and find a way that you can settle into who you want to be in a way that you can in the world, because you can't just change the world, because everybody's got their own lives that they have to live through too, so it's the purpose of working together with people to accomplish things that are beneficial and good for people who desire to live the life that they wish to more authentically, more authentic to themselves. And one of the challenges I've come to face as well is that some people don't want things to change, or they don't believe they can, etc. They don't believe that it's good or whatever. They look at to demonize people for wishing to be themselves, so much so that some people feel trapped, including myself, into participating in systems or playing a role that doesn't align with what they really truly desire. And that's a challenge as well. A lot of challenges of wishing or desiring to change how you express yourself is simply just the matter of fact that the reality isn't always easy to navigate. It can be almost a challenge to want to express yourself and not be able to for all the sort of pressures that in place that sort of keep you from doing that easily. There's things you have to either sacrifice desires or change them to fit accordingly, and that can lead to hyper personalization of like your desired will internally, so that you can I can imagine myself to be somebody or to do something or whatever a way that I can't in reality, and you can really mess yourself up by hyper fixating on desires that you wish were now, and that's something that can damage you. You can hurt yourself or others by trying to either force yourself into being something that will take time to actually achieve, or is not there's not as much established ways to achieve those goals in certain places, especially in this country, which is a country of states that make their own decisions, so. And like when it comes to like my desire to like express myself more feminine or whatever, the role I would have created something in my head to keep me from doing that. Even if I can just I can just change my voice to sound more like a girl, whatever. And that's something I can do, and it's something that I would have wanted to live like. But again, because of the things that I've faced, I have had to adjust the way I express myself in the world, and it's just ever going to be that way. It's just going to be that way, and that's really neat. One of the questions I face is that would it just be easier to give myself up and allow myself to be something that can work in the system that already exists, or should I continue at even this older age to try to live the life I want to live, to be the person I want to be, and to help and get help to do that. I'm towing a line of a very intense conversation when I talk about myself, and what I've tried to do, what I've always been trying to do, what anybody's trying to do. I toe a line of a very intense debate or conversation about things, and it doesn't have to go that way. It doesn't have to get heated, but it does, and that's something also that you have to have a level head about. You don't have to live your life for anybody else, but if you live in a world with people, you have to live in a world with people, and if you try too hard to escape from that, you're just going to be alone. And if you try also to be somebody who can work in the world with everybody, then you'll lose yourself doing that just the same. You know, you grow up with an awareness of the fact that there are people in positions of power in places in this world that do not want you to exist, like, as you want to be, or they don't want you to exist at all, or what have you. So that's also a challenge, and those kind of fears, or those kind of that kind of knowledge, people play on the fears of those, to the point of radicalizations of things. And sometimes things need to be radical for sure, but also you know you work with what you can, and do your best to not get swept up in wills of others to rapidly, forcefully even change how things are for the sake of, their will, their desire, or to give up your own in all aspects just simply because you can't fight it anymore. You can't fight the fight, because there's more people in the world who want you to be in it and involved with people in the world than like the fear that there's people who don't want you makes you think. If you let those minds that don't like you control you with fear or hate or whatever, anger, then you end up falling right into their hands to become exactly the thing that they can hate, so that they can justify their dislike of you. For me, it's like things I know, like you don't have to be a rock star to be a musician. You don't have to be born female to express yourself in a feminine way. You don't have to, I don't know, hold on a sec. You don't have to accept all cultural identities that can be applied to you as you yourself. You know what I mean? Like, as somebody who is black. I'm black, mixed black and white. I don't have this association totally with the cultural identity of blackness or whiteness in a context larger than my interpersonal relationships. Yeah, it be's the same with spirituality, with religion, with politics, with sexuality and gender identity and all these things. So what I have to say, maybe more for myself, and if anything, is it's hard. It can be hard. I mean, it is hard to feel trapped in an identity that doesn't belong to you. I believe if you take your time and you be patient and find your center, you get through it, and you learn a lot about yourself and others in doing so. That's about what I gotta say. Rock on, rock stars.